play Dietrich Valentine here on Venture Vault. I mean, I love D&D. I mean, I guess it's sort of weird to sort out someone's emotions. It's always inspiration of what I want to play, of what I want to do. To be in complete creative control of the character that you are playing. Hi everybody, I'm Brittany, and I play Dietrich Valentine here on Venture Vault, a half-elven monk from the circus with a big secret. I think there's always a part of me that was very interested in joining D&D, playing D&D, but I never really had the outlet. I didn't know where to do it locally, I didn't know where to do it online, and so one day I just kind of made a post and hoped that everyone that I thought would be interested in playing D&D with me would respond. And kind of formed this group of a bunch of girls when we first started out, most of the girls that are here in the cast, and it kind of just blossomed from there. And then we got other people that were interested, and then my amazing job allowed me to kind of be more actively involved in the community. This podcast was formed, we had more friends that wanted to play, and then I had more people that were interested, so I created a program with my job where people who were new to the game and looking for that avenue to kind of experience the game could do that, or for experienced players to have a place to play. And it's grown and it keeps growing, and it's super interesting to see it succeed and be this wonderful thing and bring a community together and be actively involved in a community that I adore. Like half of the group here, I majored in theater, and I love acting, and I love telling a story, and I love to be able to step into someone else's shoes. And for so many years I've kind of lacked that with responsibilities and having to, you know, get a real job, and D&D has given me this wonderful outlet in order to express myself and find these ways to create a character again. And to be able to collaboratively tell a story with my friends is amazing to me. And to be able to create a character that I love and I'm going to play for the long term, and be able to step into their shoes and explore a world and how they would experience it is like an actor's dream, I think. I never create a character in one specific way. I feel like it's always different. Sometimes I really like a name and that's where we'll start from, and then I build on that. Or sometimes I'll really like a concept or the look of something. It's one of my favorite parts of D&D, but it never comes from the same place. Dietrich is an example of something completely out of left field. He was a mini that one of my DMs gave me. It was the second mini he had ever painted, and he could never find a character to put to it, and he sent it to me, and it never came in the mail. The D20 that he sent me came, but someone opened the package and took the mini, and then came Dietrich. The mini was of a half-elf with dark brown hair, and it just started from there. And I knew that I wanted to kind of play this very enthusiastic, optimistic young character, and so Dietrich allowed me that. It's kind of like building blocks. I start with something, so in Dietrich's case I started with the mini, which meant I already had a race, and then his name came, so Dietrich, which used to be Eckert, but that's a whole nother story about why I couldn't use that. And then his class, because I had decided I didn't want to play a magic user, because I always do, so I was like, what can I play? And so monk came, and then I had to decide, well, what kind of monk is he? Like, where did he come from? Why is he so athletic? And when I was younger, I wanted to run away with the circus, so circus was a nice one to kind of play with the idea of being a monk, but it was different in that his practice and his discipline was that of an entertainer and not necessarily of a monastery or something. And then I was like, who would teach him? And then that's where Drunken Master came in, and we built on the idea that there was more of these characters within the circus who drunkenly taught him how to defend himself, and these are kind of like, it just kind of goes from there, and yeah, building blocks. I think one of my favorite scenes so far isn't even necessarily with Dietrich, and I'll think of one with Dietrich later, but I think my favorite moment is between Greya and Rune and this wonderful dynamic relationship that they have formed. It's so interesting to see these two gnomes who feel very differently about being a gnome or about their identity, and in some ways are very similar. With Greya, she has no idea how to be a gnome because she's been raised by elves her whole life, and then Rune seems to be someone who very much knows what it's like to be a gnome, but doesn't necessarily want to fit that description, or is trying to run away from it, or is insecure about it. I don't know, I've created this wonderful relationship between them, and I think one of my favorite moments in the campaign is they deliver this line that I think we use all of the time in social media now, and it's what gnomes do. Yeah, it's what gnomes do, right? And I just like always think that's such a really cute moment between them. But there are definitely tons of Dietrich moments that I like. I think his relationship with Aleda just always is golden, because he always says the wrong thing or does the wrong thing. I think that is also another interesting dynamic and interesting relationship that is forming. And so, I don't know, he just like is completely Aleda's foil, and I love it. I also really like that I've created this kind of character flaw, or ideal, I guess. I don't know what section it is in, but that Dietrich likes to collect gossip. But I think, for the most part, I think I gotta say that one of my favorite scenes too were Rune and Dietrich kind of going through town and trying to gather gossip and trying to gather these like big grand ideas about what was happening in Port Victor, and the fact that Port Victor was a place that had nothing going on, and he just couldn't accept that it had nothing going on, so he made up all of these things. And as a player, you have to think like, what would he think was going on? And so I think at one point he alludes to the fact that he thinks that, well, you know, Port Victor's pretty bountiful, maybe they worship a harvest god and they've been sacrificing visitors to him. And so just like these ridiculous moments that come out of Dietrich are usually my favorite. That one's a little trickier, because I think I've answered some of it a little bit, and I think everyone just has like a really interesting dynamic between them. And so when we had initially started, Mary and I had very much wanted to be like these anime boy fighters. So we had kind of created these characters that didn't necessarily know each other yet, but would kind of create this bond together. And oddly that happened, but in a unexpected way. It like oddly blossomed into something else. It's not that at all anymore. I feel like Keladir is kind of more like a father figure, which is kind of strange. Maybe older brother figure, but he gives dad vibes. And with Dietrich in particular, he's become kind of like a mentor character because he knows how to fight and he knows his way about the world, as much as he doesn't because he's not from this plane, but he seems more experienced in life. Other than that, I think for Dietrich, Aleda is the second person that he is the most close with, or that there's like something going on there. I always joke that he has a bit of a schoolboy crush on her, and we've all kind of agreed she's a very beautiful woman. Aleda is kind of the first woman that he's had the pleasure of getting to know outside of the circus and outside of someone that he's supposed to entertain or someone that he sees as family. And she's this very beautiful woman who is super unique, which is very intriguing to him. So we always just kind of joke that he has this schoolboy crush on her. I don't know that anything will blossom of that. I think he very much is not going to pursue any of that, but it's definitely there. I am a cosplayer. I like making costumes. I've been doing it for several years. It's something that I very much enjoy. I love bringing characters to life, and I think it's something really interesting to be able to bring one of your own characters to life. So I've been working on Dietrich slowly, and hopefully by the time I hit up a Ren Fair this year, he'll be done. So if you guys want to check out some of my cosplay stuff, you guys can find that here. Oh, yeah. Or soon. Okay, okay. Oh, she's good. Are you good? Yeah. Okay. You have to go though.